I'm gonna get another one soon.
My bad, Ray.
Watch High and Outside with Malik Wright and Dante Miles every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Facebook Live.
Man, what's going on, Dante? It's been feels like it's been months since I seen you, bro. What's going on? Welcome to episode 10 of the High and Outside podcast.
I'm decent, bro. How you been, man? You know, I came from the game today. The Braves just finished off the 4-game sweep of Pittsburgh, so everything's been good in Atlanta right now. Really can't complain. How you been?
I've been good. We had a little break. Rangers been off, but I got to see a wild game against your White Sox earlier today. Back and forth. I think we both were trying to lose the game. It got wild out there towards the end. And that's just a good segue into the first person we're going to talk about, Marcus Semien, last Tuesday against the Guardians. To me, he had one of the best days. He had one of the best days in MLB history. 7 for 8. 3 home runs, a walk, 2 steals on a doubleheader. It seems like it rains out there every day in Cleveland. I wasn't trying to get off the bandwagon. I was hoping because I saw with his swing this season that he hasn't been striking out. He's been making contact all year, but nothing was falling. So it was solid to see him finally pick it up.
Yeah, no, definitely, bro. Like it's really crazy because over the beginning of the season he really struggled. We talked about him not really having time to adjust to being in Texas, and now that you see him starting to really settle in and make that adjustment, over his last 7, he's slashing 387, on base percentage is 441, slugging 806. He said 4 home runs, driven in 6. He's only struck out 4 times in his last 31 at bats. Like you said, he's putting the ball in play and he's hitting the ball, making solid contact. And so that's somebody who Texas has invested a lot of money in, and he's really finally started to really settle in and be that guy that they expected him to be. So it's really good to see because that's something you always want to see for a guy like Semien.
Yeah, and I need to check out his exact strikeout numbers because he might be the type of dude to strike out less than 100 times this season. I at least in most at bats I see, you never see him go down. You see him hit a little weak chopper there, but he's going to make our lineup go. I mean, over the last few weeks, I think we've turned from what everybody thought was a tanking team when he was out there batting 140 to when he gets his stuff up to 210, 201. You see, there's actually some depth and some life in the lineup. We get a little I'm sorry to keep going, but to interrupt, but if we get a little pitching, we got a lot of prospects, a lot of room, a lot of cap space, so the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, bro, OPS is 1.247. So that's nuts. For anybody who's big on OPS and understands what that metric means, he's doing it all for the Texas Rangers right now. So like you said, you really want to see that that's a guy they invested a lot in, and I mean, I can definitely see this continuing. Obviously, he won't be 387 for the rest of the season, but this is definitely a guy who said once that he's finally settled in, finally comfortable in Texas, you can see him definitely continue to put up these big numbers.
Yeah, it's going to be I think it's going to be a battle this season for him to get to 250. But I think if he can be 250, 240. Get hot this month. I wrote about it a few days ago, but the American League second base spot. I mean, if you can win through votes, you can get in the All-Star game, but it's kind of sort of wide open on that side. One side that is locked up and one position that I think is locked up is the National League second base All-Star spot. Jazz Chisholm, subject to a little controversy earlier this week. Closed door meeting. It wasn't clear what teammates he had, but they said they weren't fans of his things such as his pregame walk-up outfits, nothing to do with his play, nothing to do with his work ethic. So I know you got to talk to him earlier this season, saw him, the work he puts in pregame. What do you think about the comments made about Jazz?
I think honestly it's a joke. You're talking about a guy who does the work. It's one thing if he was just being extremely flashy and not putting the work in and not performing on the field, but he's the best player on the Miami Marlins right now. He's been consistent the entire season. Really put up a lot of good power numbers this year, and I think it's really crazy that people are talking about his walk up outfits and what he wears to the ballpark. Who cares? What is he doing when he's in between those lines? And as far as Jazz Chisholm goes, he's done nothing but perform. So when you see people do this and try to tear down the younger players and the young black players, this is exactly what we talk about when we say, that old guard is not really ready to let go and just face reality that these new guys are here and they're here to provide a flair and be, and they have no problem playing to the crowd and entertaining guys. So, for me, it was disappointing, but at the same time, I'm not surprised because this is what we deal with in baseball.
Yeah, and I actually think that they need to use the pregame outfit as a good for baseball. We see it when you watch the NBA. You watch Sunday Countdown. They're showing the dude. They're showing what fit he's wearing walking into the game. Russell Westbrook, Kyle Kuzma, Clinton Portis, dudes like that. I think it brings a different edge to baseball. And I'm not gonna MLB they've done a better job this season of promoting their game. I think there's more. You can find a way to watch baseball on more platforms. They're having it every day of the week, but it's just the little things I think they need. Baseball is so big for just one day. I think you got to try to capture fans for a day. But like you said, I think the comments on him were complete BS, especially when he's coming from the best player on the team. He responded, though, with his first career grand slam, 2 home runs on the day. And it seems like he's done that all season, even early this season when he had his beef with Gallen. Every time his name's in some sort of controversy, he shows up. And also, he's on pace to be the first All-Star from the Bahamas in the major league. So we'll see how he fares off towards this June, this good part of July. But yeah, not a good look on those Miami Marlins. Next, I want to move on to the big dude, the guy who we got to talk about him every week. He's going to be the highest paid player in baseball, Aaron Judge, on pace for 65 home runs. Is Judge the best player in baseball? Is he the best hitter in baseball now?
I think it's an argument that you could say he's the best power hitter in baseball with the best hitter. No, I wouldn't say that. I think best hitter, I'd probably go more so Mookie, Paul Goldschmidt, Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson's hitting, I want to say 356 before he got hurt. So as far as just pure hitter, I would go with those guys. But best power hitter, best right-handed power hitter, yes, you could. There's a very strong argument for Aaron Judge. But I think more than anything, this is just showing you Brian Cashman made a huge mistake when he didn't try to pay this man in the offseason. Like that, the number he threw out this offseason now looks tiny compared to the bag he's about to get. Because when you look at everything he's done, if he manages to stay healthy this season and also bring home an American League MVP, we think he may, you're gonna have to write a blank check. You're gonna have to pretty much tell him, hey, what number is best for you. And so if you're Brian Cashman, it's unfortunate you didn't pay this man when you had the opportunity to pay him, because now he and his reps are gonna come to the table. And bro, it's not much you can really say, okay, we don't think you deserve that. Like he's showing you right now, like you said, he's on pace for 65 home runs. Obviously, I think that pace will slow down, but if he hits 50, like if he hits 48, and the Yankees make the postseason, what are you gonna tell him? Like, how can you really justify that?
Yeah, and hey, I'm just saying, if he gets up to some of those numbers, close to Barry Bonds, even touching that 65. Even with that steroid controversy that they had back then, that's one of the best seasons ever for Judge. I think the Yankees might make another move come towards the trade deadline, but he's running away with that MVP, and I hope that they get in the playoffs and actually get past the first round because he's been one of the most clutch. He was clutch for him last season when they lost to Boston. We want to get to one more topic here before we bring our guy Charles Yoga in. Tony La Russa. We've seen this twice this season. And the other manager who did it, he lost his job last week. Joe Madden from the Angels was fired, I believe, on Tuesday.
Yep.
So Tuesday, Tony La Russa, 1-2 count against Trey Turner. Sees Max Muncy in the on-deck circle. Muncy, Trey Turner, he's all-star level shortstop. He's doing his thing this year. Max Muncy, he's seen his struggles here and there, but I mean, I've seen him. He's put it in the cove a few times. Gets disrespected, and this is Muncy's response right here. Big 3-run shot.
Pollock's going back. It's gone. 3-run home run for Max Muncy.
Man.
Put Trey Turner on intentionally with a 1-2 count. choosing to go Souza Muncy.
That's really unbelievable when you think about it. Like when you really look at this, like and I'm gonna let you go before I say what I gotta say. Go ahead,
man. I'm just I'm gonna use my language, but Tony La Russa, that's just a jackass move. I mean, to get the count to 1-2, you trusted your pitcher on to attack him 0-0, but you don't trust him to attack a guy where he only has to get one strike. Why not just immediately put him on if you are gonna intentionally walk him? I just don't get it. He doesn't walk back on his comments. I know the fans are cheering for him to get out. And another thing I noticed just watching the White Sox, watching them during their game with the Rangers, man, they look sloppy this season. That's not the team that the way they field, the way that they pitched, some of the strikeouts they were taking, it just doesn't look like a team with World Series aspirations. Although they still have that roster together, it's not like a lot of people have left off the team yet.
Let me tell you something. Tony La Russa only has his gig because he is good friends with Jerry Reinsdorf. Like, that's it. That's all. And, that's just the reality of the situation. I think it's to the point where White Sox general manager Rick Hahn couldn't fire him if he wanted to fire him. Like, it's really one of those type of situations. Because when you look at the mismanagement and the way that he was brought on to get rid of certain problems, yet for some reason those problems are still here. You can't really tell me that this guy, is the answer to your problems. It's like he was brought on to take them to that next level, and it just shown time and time again that this was a mistake. Like, you had the opportunity to tie a young upstart manager, whoever they may have been, to this roster, and you decided to go grab Tony La Russa, fresh off a DUI. Like, it made absolutely no sense. And it's shown time and time again that this really wasn't the guy for the job. And so, I mean, that walking the guy with 1-2 and like having the wrong situational stats, that just shows you, like Tony, he needs to go back home. Like, just flat out. Like, that's really the best way. That's the nicest way to say it. Like, he's showing you like this. He has not been the guy for the job for the White Sox, and it's crazy because they've had, like you said, championship aspirations, and like this season has fallen apart. And even with the injuries and everything that's happened, they have been right there in the thick of things in that AL Central, and yet he hasn't been able to manage the way you expect a three or how many World Series does he have? 3 or 4?
Yeah, 3.
A World Series winning manager to do it. He hasn't done it, so it's like, nah, it's time for a new voice there, because like you said, the team just looks lifeless and sloppy, and like that's usually the signs where they've tuned out the manager. So Tony, man, no.
Hey, I'm glad you got to get that off your chest, man. We service this platform. We'll be here every Sunday. The MLB podcast, yeah. But and like you were saying though, I still think there's a shot for the White Sox to still make the playoffs. I don't think
definitely
all hope is lost. The Guardians, young pitching staff, they're a young team. They've got a few good bats on that lineup with to go along with Jose, and then also the Minnesota Twins. But Royce Lewis out now. You never know the injury history they can have, or if they're gonna slow down. But moving on here, we're gonna bring in our guest of this week, my guy Charles Yoga, MLBBro.com, and the newest associate producer of MLB Radio on Sirius XM. Charles Yoga, what's going on,
yes,
man?
Sir.
What it do, fellas? What it do? How you guys doing?
I'm good.
Congratulations, bro. Congratulations, my guy.
Congratulations. So first off, tell the people about your new role.
Yes. Been recently hired by Sirius XM for MLB Radio. What I'll be doing there is as associate producer, which will basically be a little bit of everything. A little bit of editing, working the boards, taking calls, research, podcasting, maybe some voiceover work as well. So basically, I would be a jack of all trades for Sirius XM here in Washington, D.C.
All right, man. Well, good luck with that, man. And we look forward to hearing more success for you. I watch you in. I saw you at the College World Series last week. We'll get to that in a second. I want to talk first about Josiah Gray and Josh Bell. Bell, under the radar this season, a 300 hitter. He's hitting home runs. He's doing it everywhere. Hitting home runs. He hits triples. What have you seen from this season compared to last?
Well, I think he's more comfortable at the plate now because as acquisition, he come from Pittsburgh. He was the heir apparent to Ryan Zimmerman as the first baseman. So he needed to, I would say, announce his presence with authority. If you big little baseball reference from Bull Durham. But I think this year so far, he's cut down the strikeouts, which is one of his issues for his career. He's well above, according to Stat Savants on MLB, his K rate is probably in the top tier when it comes like doesn't strike out anymore. So that's a key thing to him. But the thing is, I've noticed also he's not getting the lift or the elevation. He's getting a lot of doubles, but he's not getting the power. So I think that's going to come over time as he gets more comfortable. And he's still young. He's only 29 years old. So and playing the position of first base, that's a longevity position. He can play there for another 10 years plus. So once he gets comfortable, and hopefully the Nationals don't trade him away and do a salary dump like they're trying to do to rebuild. But I think Josh Bell as a left-handed power hitter to protect Juan Soto in that lineup is going to be a key thing for this team moving forward.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that. I know Bell. It's going to be a lot of people ringing their doorbell, especially if they are trying to get at Soto. So we'll see how that goes. I think those two might go hand in hand, though. Like you said, Soto does need somebody behind him, and that's going to help his RBI rate too. Another guy we want to talk about is you guys' addition, Josiah Gray, former Dodgers top prospect. He started off the year hot, mellowed out, but over his last 3 starts, he's been pretty solid. Let me see, according to my paper, 5 innings, 6 hits, no runs in his last start, 6-4 with a 4.3 ERA on the season. So just talk about what you've seen during his time in Washington.
I would consider Josiah Gray the Washington Nationals roller coaster, up and down, up and down, up and down. The thrills of he's got the stuff. I mean, you look at his numbers off the bat. I mean, he averaged over a K per inning, so he's got the stuff. Got a good fastball, good slider, good change, and good curve. But I've also noticed the fact that he does walk a little too much to me batters, and that's why he has such a high whip. I think his whip is somewhere around 1.34. Now, in order to be an elite pitcher, your whip's got to be around the 1.11 or lower to minimize those we call them free 90s. Minimize those free 90s. That way you get less people on base. That means when you do make a mistake, the damage is less than it would be if you have 2-3 guys on base. So if he can get those walks down, the Ks are there. He's got a high swing and miss rate at 75%. I think is what it says here on Stat Savant. So he has the stuff to make bats miss. It's just the fact that he needs to be more consistent around the plate with his command and his control. But he's still young. I mean, he's still learning. I mean, you can tell, like, when he's pitching well, he looks like a Cy Young contender. But when he's not controlling, not hitting the zone, not hitting the corners, not making sure his fastball is in the right location, make sure it, and we also know that I've noticed he does have a good changeup, but he needs to be a little bit more of a speed difference, a velocity difference between his fastball and his changeup. His fastball is around 94, 95, but his changeup is in the high 80s. So he needs to maybe drop that down to maybe 85, 84 to get the batters a little bit off balance, and that might help him even increase his strikeout rate, increase his whip rate, because people are sitting on his fastball in the mid-90s, and if the guy can just maybe do a little bit more with his control and command, and hopefully, like I said, he's only 23, 24 years old, he can take this what we've seen so far from him and his strikeout ability, and who knows, the sky's the limit with this guy. Sky's the limit with this guy.
Yes, sir. I think he's the future in Washington, especially with Steven Strasburg. Even though he came back this week, had a solid outing. I think he's the future out there in Washington, of course. But again, we're here with Charles Yoga, MLBBro.com contributor, the High and Outside podcast, episode 10. We're on every Sunday on Facebook Live. I want to talk to you about the College World Series, man. And you were actually in attendance at UConn versus Maryland. Just in the tournament period, I've just been binge watching it from my house. Those environments are crazy. The environment of college baseball is crazy. And something that I like is, I don't know if they juice those baseballs or what, but they're actually hitting home runs in college baseball now, knocking them out. Talk a little bit about the Maryland UConn series. I know we saw a spectacular catch from from Chris Allen, and also a little bit of controversy in that game too.
Well, I'm going to be up front with you guys. I am a Maryland alumni, so I might be a little bit biased about this. So, but yeah, the Chris Allen and Maxwell Costas are the two bros on that team who helped lead them to the best record ever. I think they had 48 wins this year. And Coach Rob Vaughn, who's in charge of the team, does a great job of getting those guys ready to play. However, one of Maryland's biggest weaknesses, since I've noticed the past few years, was their bullpen. And once again, every year the sixth inning was like always a downfall for Maryland. But in this, there's a players that played that catch by Chris. They call him Bubba out in center field. The kid who won Big Ten Player of the Year. Amazing talent, speed, power, all the above. Had career highs in every statistical category. But let's go talk about a controversial play at first base when I believe UConn was up 10, and Maryland slowly chipped away at the lead. And Allen had a home run to put him within 2, and then he's up the bat, and he legged it out. And the first baseman for UConn, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, was standing on the base in the base path. And I always taught as a kid that the runner has the right to the base.
Absolutely.
So when the original call was he was safe, and then the home plate umpire comes out of the blue, like no, let's review it, and they called him out after the fact. So I'm not sure if there was any money on the game or something. You know what I'm saying? But it was a bad. Here's a replay here. If you guys can look at it right now, tell me who you think. I think he was safe because the guy, and maybe because the first person got hurt, they might have changed their opinion about the play, but you can't block the play. You can't block the bag if you're a defender. I thought that's the basic rules. Like the runner has a right to the bag just as much as the defender does, so you cannot block the plate. And that just killed Maryland's comeback because they were literally on the verge of probably making one of the biggest comebacks in school history. And then after that, 2 more outs, game's over. UConn advances. So it's as I'm trying to keep my composure. I'm trying to it's okay. It's just a game. But Maryland should have been playing in the next level in the super regionals instead of going home, losing at home, staying at home, and losing both Allen and Costas after having 2 of them guys having remarkable seasons. Like it feels like it's just like what you would call a letdown of epic proportions. It's like a 1 seed losing to the 8th seed in NBA playoffs. It's like this doesn't happen. Like why? So.
Hey, like I told Dante, we're using this as a platform to let it off your chest. Anything baseball, you can come on here and do that. While you're here, though, I do want to show the people a walk-off real quick from another bro, future MLB bro from the University of Texas, Dylan Campbell. He had a walk-off single this after he hit a tying 3-run home run in Texas game against Eastern Carolina. Big time dude, shortstop. The UT will let it play right here.
Good swing. Opposite field.
Yeah, and this was in they were that East Carolina outfield, dude. That would just be crazy to play with the fans that close to you off there. It's Saturday afternoon brunch drinks. They're nothing's positive to being said right there, but it's great to see a lot of bros in this College World Series. I saw Notre Dame had one, a spectacular catch from Oklahoma earlier today. That's probably going to be one of the number 1 plays on ESPN. He catches it. Flips over the wall, but it's going to be a great College World Series. And you don't got to feel as bad, Charles. Number 1 seed Maryland today. Number 1 seed Tennessee today. Completely just let the pressure crack to them. Errors, home runs, base running mistakes at the end of the game. So at least the best team, at least the number 1 rated season team is out as well. But again, I appreciate you for joining the High and Outside podcast. Tell the people how they can reach you.
Very simple. My all social media platforms, my full name at Charles Younger. That's CharlesNyonga. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, the Instagram, even the TikTok. I don't twerk. I don't do thirst traps, but I am on the TikTok posting random funny stuff and some random sports stuff as well. So you can find me on all those social media platforms at Charles Junga, and my website, which I also post my stuff on, is at Sports Serve Neat, www.sportserveneat.com.
All right, man. Well, I look forward to not seeing any videos of you dancing.
Yeah.
Trust me, no one wants to see that.
No parts of that at all.
None. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys.
No problem, man. Enjoy.
Take care.
Moving on next, we're going to take you guys live at the ballpark. And last week, I got to spend time with the Seattle Mariners for a little bit. And I do want to give a shout out to their PR team and their just team in general. Some of the nicest people, none of them from Trammell to Crawford to even the Ty France and Julio Rodriguez, who won. He won Player of the Rookie of the Month. I saw him do about 5-10 interviews. But we got legend, former Brewer, former Mariner, Mike Cameron. I got to spend time and chat with him. So let you guys listen. Yo, what's up? It's Malik Wright, and I'm live on tape at the ballpark for MLBBro.com.
All right, so I got to ask you, what's the best play you've made during your career?
Well, I would say one of the best for me is significant because it was a play I made against Derek Jeter after getting traded for Ken Griffey Jr. in 2000. Derek Jeter hit a ball to dead center field. It was the second series of the season. Derek Jeter hit a ball to center field, and I was going to go up on the wall to make a stab in the wall and reach over the wall to make a play. And that was significant for me because I felt like it allowed the people in Seattle to feel comfortable about the person who was replacing Ken Griffey Jr.
Now, you're here, you're a coach for the team now. So how's that? Obviously different, but what have you learned from that, learned from your role, and how's that going?
Well, I'm like a special assistant coach. And so I go to every part of the organization. I'm here now to take in what these guys are trying to hopefully get a better energy about the season and getting ready to play a little bit better baseball and just really trying to enjoy the game. I'm going on from here to Houston and back to Seattle with them too. So it'll be really interesting to do. But my official title is special assignment coach. The majority of the time it's about the outfielders.
Okay, now your son, another outfielder, Dash Cameron, he's shown flashes, made a few nice plays. We know his speed. What's it like watching your son on TV? Any comparisons that you'd have to yourself?
Yeah, a lot of people always say that he's just like me, but I see different. But I do see some of the things that he do, the mannerisms on the field, maybe some of the athleticism that he's being able to provide for his team does remind me of me a little bit. So I'm very proud of him. It's been, I guess, a rough couple of years for him, being hurt. This year dealing with adversity, being up and down. Now he's getting a chance to play. Now he's getting comfortable. I just hope he can continue much success and continue to grow.
Last question, just what's it been like working with J.P. Crawford, Kyle Lewis? J.P.'s role got a little bit bigger this season with Seager out, so he's captain now. So what did you think from him?
Well, just J.P. is so cool, man. I mean, I think he's got a slow heartbeat. Obviously, he's on the infield, but my job is to always connect with all of the brothers all the time. And I think JB's he's not really a vocal leader. He does it on the field. And with the other guys, like K-Lou and Tram, Julio, and some other guys, it's really just being a mentor to these guys. They're already great ball players. It's just a matter of giving them an opportunity to share some information which may help them out down the road.
Again, we always got to thank every time a legend comes on the show. Thank you for MLBBro.com.
Definitely. MLBPros.com.
MLBBro.com, covering black and brown major leagues.
Oh boy, you gotta love the energy he brings. They said he brought some sage into their locker room the other day to try to kill out some bad energy. They had a tough weekend series though against the Red Sox earlier. They lost 2-0 today, I believe. But give it a look forward to next week real quick. I'll be in Arlington. Rangers got a series with the Astros and with the Angels on their most recent losing streak. The Astros, they're kind of the mediocre divisional leader, but Rangers will look to see if they can catch second place. So it'll always be good to chop it up with Dusty. The first time I've talked to him since he's got his 2000th win, as well as try to get some combo with Michael Brantley, and also see what Marcus Semien ate the morning that he went and decided to hit 3-0, because he probably needs to get on that diet every day. But what about you?
Well, the Braves are out of town. They headed up to DC and they go over to Chicago before they come back. So it's gonna be a real relaxed weekend in Atlanta. The Nationals they're still dead last in the division. So Braves have won 11 in a row. I expect them to really run through this week. But the Nationals and the Cubs, who have also struggled this year, and they definitely need to do that because when they come back to town. The week after next, they have the Giants and the Dodgers. So, the Braves need to continue this streak and keep the momentum going because they have two really tough series coming up. So, sometimes you have teams who look past guys and things like that, and the Braves can't do that. So, this week I'm looking to see how they take care of business, because it's one thing to rise to the occasion and play, the better teams. But what do you do when you come against those guys that you should beat, 2 out of 3, or you should just sweep? Like, are you going to play down to that level, or are you going to just run through them? So I'm interested to see what the Braves do with that.
Yeah, and that lease is looking a little interesting. Philly was struggling. Bryce Harper was down. They fired Joe Girardi. They were in the midst of a 7-8 game winning streak themselves to go along with the Braves. But again, I want to thank you guys for listening to the High and Outside podcast. We're here every Sunday on Facebook Live. Shout out Ray in the back. Appreciate Charles for joining us. Malik Wright, Dante Miles, and peace out. We'll see y'all next week.
Watch High and Outside with Malik Wright and Dante Miles every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Facebook Live. MLBBro.com, covering black and brown major leagues.